Swagatam, Suswagatam, Sarvebhya, Sugarudbhya, Sri Ranganatha Bhaktebhya, Paduka Bhaktebhyascha. So let me begin with the first verse. Sriman Venkatanatharya Kavitarkika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyo me Sannidhattam Sadakriti Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathāryam Vande Vedantadeshikam. Let us also remember the preceptor of Sri Vedantadeshika with just one verse. Vande Vedanta Karpura Chami Kara Kantakam. Chami Kara Kantakam. Kantakam. Ramanujaryam Maryanam Chudamani Maharnisham. Let me recite the first verse of third chapter, Prabhava Paddhati. Vande Tadranganathasya Manyam Padukayor Yugam Unnatanam Avanatir Natanam Yatra Chonnatihi. So we go to the next verse. So we saw 46th in the earlier session. And now we go to the 47th session, verse from Prabhava Paddhati. Tava Keshava Paduke Prabhavo Mama Dushkarmacha Nanu Anantasare Niyamena Tathapi Paschimasya Prathamena Eva Parabhavam Pratimaha. Let me again recite by splitting the sandhis. Tava Keshava Paduke Prabhavaha Mama Dushkarmacha Nanu Anantasare Niyamena Tatha Api Paschimasya Prathamena Eva Parabhavam Pratimaha. This is again what we call shrewd statement by saying your qualities and my qualities are similar. How come they are similar? We will see in the meaning. Now, Vedantadeshika, as usual, addresses the divine sandals. He Keshava Paduke. All of you might know that the letter He used for Boho, hello, is not necessary always. So, He Keshava Paduke, oh, the divine sandals of Lord Ranganatha. So, we already start the list of names with Keshavaya Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha, and so on. So, Keshava is the first name. And Keshava, by the very name, we understand it points out to Lord Krishna, especially. Almost all of us like more the incarnation of Lord Krishna than any other avatara, since we see him as a child also. So Keshava Paduke, O Ranganatha's divine sandals. Now, there are two equal ideas. What are they? Prabhavaha, Tava Prabhavaha. So your greatness. Tava, your Prabhavaha, greatness. Mama Dushkarmacha, my bad activities. So my sins. The result of my bad activities is sin. So Mama Dushkarmacha, So somebody, of course, says by the English proverb, it is human to err. So to forgive is divine. And therefore, so here it's the same type of proverb here. The meaning of the proverb is translated into Sanskrit here. So mama dushkarmacha, and my bad activities. Nanu, indeed, anantasare. Both of them have got equal strength, power. Your greatness is unlimited. My bad activities are unlimited. Anantasare. Your greatness is with no end. And my activities, bad activities also have no end. I continue to do in spite of understanding the Shastras. Nanu anantasare. Saraha, strength, inner strength. So the inner strength, we say essence also. When we say in Sanskrit, Saraha, essence. And I think in Kannada, they call the food item rasam as sharu. So the same thing, Saraha, the juice. So here it is Ananta Saraha. So the strength is limitless, endless. That is your greatness and my bad activities. But what happens? The second half, he wants to conclude. He wants to decide. So vayam pratimaha. Vayam is understood here. Pratimaha meaning we consider, we take into consideration. So why we think, so we imagine, so we conclude. So vayam pratimaha. What do we conclude? Prathamena niyamena parabhavam paschimasya parabhavam. Though your greatness and my bad activities are equally endless, tathapi, even then, so api is even, so tatha then, so even then, paschimasya of the second one, namely my bad activities, are defeated by your greatness. Prathamena eva niyamena. So by the discipline that you have in your greatness succeeds and wins over or defeats my bad activities. So my bad activities come to an end because of your greatness. That's the meaning. So niyamena prathamena eva parabhavam. Parabhavam is defeat. Pratimaha, we understand that both of them being equal, namely your greatness and my bad activities, in the idea of endlessness, then we have the first one, that is your prabhavaha, your greatness, succeeds, gets success over my bad activities. In the sense, so you absolve all my sins, pardon my sins, forgive my errors, and then you redeem me. So you give me what I am expected to get. So tava keshava paduke prabhavo mama dushkarma jananvanantasare. Indeed, both of us are equal. That is your greatness and my bad activities. Niyamena tathapi paschimasya prathamena eva parabhavam pratimaha. We understand that the first one overtakes the second one, the latter one. The former is victorious over the latter one because your greatness is a good aspect. And therefore, it overrides my bad activities. I am blessed to escape my sins. And then I stop further my bad activities. Let me recite once again. Tava Keshava Paduke Prabhavo Mama Dushkarma Chananmananta Sare Niyamena Tathapi Paschimasya Prathamena Parabhavam Pratimaha. We go to 48. Astra Bhushana Tayaiva Kevalam Vishwameda Dakhilam Bibhartiyaha Aklamena Manipaduke Tvaya Sopi Shekharatayaiva Dharyate. Now we have another concept, idea that comes to the mind of the author, namely Sri Vedantadeshika of the Sri Padukasahasram. In this third chapter, Prabhava Paddhati, Astra Bhushanatayaiva. There are 5 weapons generally visible in the standing pose of Sri Ranganatha of Srirangam. We call him in Tamil Nam Perumal, because we call him our God because he comes to our home also, and therefore Nam Perumal. Whereas the Moolavar deity is in the lying pose and he doesn't move out. Now we all consider all his weapons as ornaments. In fact, I told you earlier also that the ornaments are not beautifying the Lord, but Lord is beautifying the ornaments. Here ornaments are weapons. How can ornament can be called weapons, or how can weapons become ornaments? For the sake of devotees, they are only ornaments. They are only embellishments. Alankara we say. Bhushanatayaiva kevalam. Now, the astra, the missile, of course, you can take it as weapon generally here. Generally, astra is what? The weapon which we send from the hand out. Shastram is a weapon that we hold in our hand permanently. For example, gada, the mace, the bow, sharngam, the chapaha, otherwise called dhanu. These two, and also the khadga, the sword, called nandakam, with regard to the 5 weapons of Lord Vishnu. So all these 3 are kept in the hand always. And whereas the arrow from the bow is sent, the chakram, the sudarshanam, is also sent towards the enemy of the devotees only. And panchajanyam, of course, sticks to the mouth, it is blown. So astra bhushana tayeva kevalam vishwameda dakhilam bibhartiyaha. Yaha, who, namely Lord Ranganatha, otherwise can say Lord Sriman Narayana, otherwise he says Paramapadanatha, the Vaikuntha Swarupam, namely Vasudeva. So he is holding, he is bearing Vibharti. How does he bear the world? How does he carry the world? How does he sustain the world? How does he maintain the world? Akhilam Vishwam Etat. Etat is this. Akhilam Vishwam, the entire universe. This entire universe is being borne by, B-O-R-N-E, by the Lord Ranganatha. So how does he do it? Aklamena, without any difficulty. Carrying out the responsibility of protection of the entire universe is an easy task for Lord Ranganatha. It's a cakewalk, as we say. Just what we call a pleasure pursuit, a leisurely action, leisure pursuit also. So Kevalam, how does he do it? He simply has these 5 weapons. Now, how do we understand that with the simple weapons as ornaments, As soon as enemies of devotees see him with weapons, then they run away. And they are afraid to fight with him. They understand that Lord Ranganatha is invincible. He cannot be defeated. He cannot be won over. And therefore, the whole universe has a look at the figure, the Divya Mangala Vigraha, the auspicious divine figure of Ranganatha with the 5 weapons, and then they run away. They flood away. So, Astra Bhushanatayeva, even looking at the ornamental weapons. So, what are the weapons? As I told you earlier, so I repeat. So, Chakram Sudarshanam, the Panchajanyam, the Shankham, the conch, Chakram, the discus or the wheel. And then thirdly, you have the Nandakam, the sword. Then Kaumadiki, the mace, Gada. So Nandakam is Khadgaha. And finally, Sharangam, the bow, Dhanuhu. Now, you would have heard about the Panchayata Stotram, which is normally recited soon after Vishnu Sahasranama. As soon as you finish reading the Parayana shlokas in the beginning, starting with Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. You start with that, and you start with the conversation between Bhishma and Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira is asking questions and Bhishma answering them. The final answer is, for all the questions, is Vishnu Sahasranama recitation. So after starting with what you call ending with Satyabhama Sahitam Krishnamashraye, Rukmini Satyabhama Bhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye. We finish with that, and then we start the Vishnu Sahasranamam, and we say Vishwam Vishnurva Shatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. So ending with the Sarva Praharanaidha Om Nama Iti. Then we again start the Phalashruti, Vanamali, Gadi, Sargi, Shankhi, Chakri, Cha, Nandaki, Sriman Narayano, Vishnu Vasudevo, Bhirakshatu. So we have a big list of advantages that accrue by recitation of Sri Vishnu Sahasranam. Afterwards, we go to what we call the important verse, Parvati asking, Lord Shiva Keno Payena Laghuna Vishnor Nama Sagasrakam Pathyate Panditay Nityam Shrotam Ichhamyaham Prabho. And then Ishvara Uvacha, Lord Shiva answering her question, Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sagasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. So afterwards you find that the last verse, Artha Vishanna Shitilascha Bhita. Now here you can understand the Vishwameda Dakilam Saha Pibhati Yaha Pibhati. Saha, what does he do? Now he holds the weight of the rather burden of the entire universe protection on his head. Generally we say the head carries the weight. And we have another negative way of scolding people, head weight, as we say in Tamil, Talai Ghanam. One who is proud is called a head-weighted man. But he has got a lot of weight, vibhakti. So he carries the weight, he carries the responsibility of protecting the entire universe, 14 worlds. Generally call in what we call a nutshell, 3 worlds. So 3 Jagat. So here, so when he holds this weight on his head, that is responsibility on his head. Now, I shall tell you the words, Artha Vishanna Shitilascha Bhita. There are people among us who are suffering, those who are sad, and those who are afraid. So these devotees, what happens to them? Shitilascha bhitaha, ghoreshu cha vyadishu vartamanaha. Those who are suffering by some disease. Sankirtya Narayana Shabdamatram, having recited just a single word, Narayana, Vimukta Dukkha Sukhino Bhavanti. Sometimes in some books you will have Bhavantu. We pray that the people who recite the name of Narayana will become happy and will be relieved of all sufferings. Vimukta Dukkha Sukhino. But as we see that Vishnu Sahasranama recitation gives us a lot of advantages. We use the word in present tense, bhavanti. So we have proof. We see people getting relieved of their sins, diseases, fear, sadness, and suffering. So here, so we say bhavanti. So afterwards, we start reading what we call Panchayata Stotram. I shall read it very fast so that not much time is spent on that. So, Sphurat Sagasrara Shikhati Tivram Sudarshanam Bhaskara Koti Tulyam Suradvisham Pranavinashi Vishnos Chakram Sadaham Sharanam Prapaddi. So, this is an adoration prayer to the Chakram, the wheel, the Sudarshanam as it is called. Beautiful to look at, therefore it's called Sudarshanam. Vishnor Mukothanila Puritasya Yasya Dhvanir Darpahanta Tam Panchajanyam Shashikoti Shubhram Shankham Sadaham Sharanam Prapadde. Prayer to Kanch. Hiranmayim Meru Samanasaram Kaumodakim Daitya Kulaikahantrim Vaikunthavama Krakara Bhimritam Gadam Sadaham Sharanam Prapadde. Prayer to the maize Gada, which is called the Kaumodaki. Then you have Hiranmayim Meru Samanasaram Kaumodakim Daityakulaikahantrim Vaikunthavama Krakara Bhimritam Gadam Sadaham Charanam Prapadde. Rakshosuranam Kathinokra Kantha Chedakshara Shonita Digdadharam Tam Nandakam Namahare Pradiptam Khadgam Sadaham Charanam Prapadde. So we all surrender to the next weapon, namely sword called Nandakam. Last one, fifth one, Yajjaninada Shravanat Suranam Chetamsi Nirmukta Bhayani Sadhya Bhavanti Daitya Shanivana Varshi Sharngam Sadaham Sharanam Prapadde. So these 5 verses called the Pancha Ayudha Stotram. So when should we recite it? We should normally recite it in the morning. Generally, Vishnu Sahasranamam is recited by most people in the evening, or some people even recite it in the morning also, or whenever we like, so in the afternoon and so on. So here, so whenever we have time, we must allot some time for this Vishnu Sahasranamam. And daily recitation is recommended, and Panchayata Stotram is recommended to be recited in the morning. So you find that what are the advantages? Phalashruti. So you must hear the Phalashruti also. What is the advantage of recitation of Panchayata Stotram? Imam Hare Pancha Mahayudhanam Imam Hare Pancha Mahayudhanam Stotram Pate Yonidinam Prabhate Samasta Dukkhani Bhayani Sadhyaha Papani Nashyanti Sukhani Santi. So we get happiness. All our sufferings come to an end. Again, specific advantages. Vane Rane. So when we get into fight with somebody, unfortunately, that when we get into fight with others, Vane, not in the forest, so that means we are left alone. Vane, Rane, in fight, war. So we have some tussle. So Vane, Rane, Shatru, so we are caught among enemies. Jala, so we are caught in floods. Agni, fire. So we try to escape a fire accident. So then Agni Madhye, so in the middle of these dangers, Vane Rane Shatru Jalagni Madhye, then sometimes unexpectedly we face some trouble. So Yadrachaya Apatsu Mahabhayeshu, even though the troubles do not affect us directly, so we are terribly afraid of them. Yadrachaya, accidentally, not incidentally, it's an accidentally. So Yadrachaya Apatsu Mahabhayeshu Idam Patam Stotram. So once we read this Stotram, Panchayata Stotram, when we read it, we must have faith in that. Anakulatma. We must not be akulatma. We must not be disturbed in mind with a lot of tension. Whether should we believe, whether we should believe this Panchayata Stotram to save us from trouble. So we must have full faith on that. Anakulatma. So what will happen? So we become Sukhi Bhavet Tat Krita Sarvarakshaha. All protection is given for us if we recite. With this 7 verses daily recited in the mornings, this recitation will keep us safe. That's what I understood by experience also. Over the 35 years of teaching in colleges, when I faced some troubles for the students faced some troubles. And then when I advised them, from the day from which I advised them, so no student faced the trouble. Otherwise, we also had a lot of bitter experience in the mishaps of students also. So what I started advising is please recite Panchayata Stotram almost every day. If you miss at least one day, then you can do it twice on the next day. It's very easy. It's only 7, even 5 are enough if some people do not want to say the Palashruti. And there are many people, very many good people, that they recite only Vishnu Sahasranamam up to Sarva Praharana Yudhaha. Then they say these 2 verses, Vanamali Gadishangi Itidam Kirtaniyasya. Then they don't even say the Palashruti. Finally, they say Sri Rama Rama Rama. So that means, so as devotees, we don't demand anything from the Lord. We don't have any requirements. We don't have any needs. We are not want of many things. And therefore, we don't even like to say Palashruti. Of course, Palashruti is attached to all the portions of these from the beginning, Shuklam Bharadaram, up to what we say. After Panchayata Stotram, we have Dwadasha Nama Panjara Stotram, starting with the word Purastat Keshavah Patu, then finally ending in Bhayam Nasti Kadachana. There is no fear. And then again starting another set of stotras called Apadam Apagattaram. So that gives a lot of what we call occasional, that is particular to some occasions. We have got beautiful verses which are very useful in our life. In future, I can deal with those verses so that you will remember for every occasion you can remember a sloka. So finally we end with Alodya Sarva Shastrani. Then we end it with, as usual, Kayena Vacha, Manasendra. These are all certain verses very popular amongst you. And therefore, we need not spend time on this here. So here, this is the beauty here. So Lord Ranganatha carries on his head a heavy responsibility, namely the protection of the entire universe. And that he does just like that, with the ornaments, namely weapons. Aklamena, easily, without any sweat, without any suffering. Hey Manipadake, oh gemmed sandals. So already we have been frequently seeing these words. Manipaduke, Tvaya Sopi, Shekharatayaiva dharyate. Now, the weapons, are in the four hands, four weapons on the four hands, and on the shoulder, the bow and the arrows in the quiver at the back. So these are, you know the picture of Ranganatha with the five weapons. And then what happens to this? Padukas are on the feet, divine feet. That is, the feet are on the Paduka. But since the devotees come to the temple, they get shatari placed on their head by the by the priest in the temple. Now, the divine sandal is carrying the whole weight of Sri Ranganatha in the standing pose and his divine feet. Now, why we say divine feet again and again? Because the divine feet are attached closely to divine sandals. Now, a great God, Periya Perumal, is taking care of the entire universe. That great God is taken care of by the divine sandals. Sopi, he too, or even he, a great Lord who helps the proper maintenance of the entire universe, he is being borne by the divine sandals. Shekharatayaiva. So what is the beauty here is the divine feet of Ranganatha are only ornaments on the head to the divine sandals. Astra bhushanatayaiva kevalam. So let me recite this, 48. So Astra bhushanatayaiva kevalam vishwameda dakhilam bibhartiyaha aklamena manipaduke tvaya sopi shekharatayaiva dharyate. So you have the beauty, namely, the divine sandals are greater than even God, as we can put it, the divine feet. We also say, with the blessings of the God or the blessings of the divine feet of the Lord, we are all safe. We are all safe. At the same time, by the divine sandals, Lord is also safe. So we go to the next one, 49. So let me read it. Ramapada sakadharmacharini paduke nikhila patakachidam tvam ashesha jagatam adhishwarim bhavayami bharata adhidevatam bharata adhidevatam. So these are the words are very easy to read, and so sometimes the words of Vedantadeshika are terse, very difficult. It is even making out the meaning is difficult. We have to struggle hard to see the commentaries and read and understand the meaning. So here it's very easy, and Maheshwari sister has done the great job of splitting the words, Sanskrit words with dash. She did it most of the time. So whenever there was some deviation, I also helped her. So Rama from Vyoma Linguistics Lab Foundation. Thanks to her. So Rama Pada Sagadharmacharini. Easy to read by these dashes. So Paduke, hey Paduke, Nikhila Patakachidam Tvam Ashesha Jagatam Adhi Ishwarim Bhavayami Bharata Adhidevatam. Now, previously, he said it in plural, Pratimaha. So we understand that Niyamena Pratamenaiva Parabhavam Paschimasya Pratimaha. For Swami Vedantadeshika's conclusive idea is that the greatness of the divine sandals, one wins over the bad activities of the devotees. Not only of Sri Vedantadeshika, but also, so when we say that, you will find that Tava Prabhavaha mama dushkarmacha. So when you say this verse, Vedantadeshika is not saying through our mouth. We are saying through Vedantadeshika's blessing. Therefore, how was the divine sandal in the incarnation of Rama? Wherever he went, either in Ayodhya or followed Vishwamitra, went to Mithila, came back to Ayodhya and went back to the forest for 14 years. The divine sandals became the wife, Sagadharmacharini. The word of Valmiki is used by Vedantadeshika. So when Sita was given in marriage by her father, foster father, King, saintly King Janaka, then he said, Iyam Sita mama sutta sagadharmachari tava. Iyam Sita, this girl Sita, mama sutta, my daughter. He became very possessive. Though she is an adopted daughter, she appeared in the field where he plowed for the sake of the sacrifice to be performed. In Yagashala, he found her as a small baby. He brought her up, and he considered that Sita was his own daughter. Such an attachment to a rishi like Janaka. A rishi in general should be without attachments. He should be always detached in life. Whereas Janaka became so affectionate with a filial affection towards Sita. She said, Mama Sutta, possessiveness, my daughter. Yam Sita Mama Sutta. Then he talked to Rama like this, Sakadharmachari Tava. She will be a follower, close follower, always to you. Sahadharmachari, not Sahachari. She will not be a mere follower. So in whatever action of righteousness that you perform, she will be a companion. She will be helpful to you. She will not antagonize you at any time. She will go along with you. She will agree with you whenever you perform the good activities. And sometimes also Sita finds fault with Rama. Rama had to attack a lot of demons in the forest, and Sita was asking him, why should Rama attack the demons when the demons do not come and trouble him? And he in turn said that because the sages came to surrender unto him, so he had to protect the sages, and therefore he had to attack the demons. And she was polite in saying, Sita was polite in saying, Smaraye tvam natu shikshaye. I remind you, I am not instructing you, I am not ordering you, but I am just reminding you what you know already. So you know what is dharma. So we say Rama is the personification, embodiment, full embodiment of what righteousness is. Ramo vigrahavan dharma. These are all some statements from Valmiki. And Vedantadeshika follows Valmiki's words. So Ramapada Sagadharmacharini. The divine sandal is understood to be the companion Sagadharmacharini. So going along with Rama, so attached to his feet, by doing all kinds of righteous actions. So Rama Pada Sakadharmacharini. Hey Paduke, oh divine sandals. So in that process, what happens? Nikhila Patakachitam. Many come and surrender to Rama. So in each kandam, that is the chapter of Srimad Ramayanam, you find that there is what we call Sharanagata Rakshanam, protection of the surrenderers. So initially, before taking the incarnation, before deciding to take the incarnation as a human being, Lord Vishnu was approached by the gods and they reported the trouble given by Ravana and other demons. And then they sought shelter under him and they wanted refuge. Rama assured them that they will be relieved of their sufferings. The demons will be killed. The enemies of gods will be killed, and so on. And therefore, whatever sin has been committed by the devotees of Rama will be removed. So, Nikhila Pathakachidam. It will cut asunder. What will cut asunder? The divine sandals, once we worship at the temple, then it will break the chain of the great sins. How many? Nikhila Pathakachitam, all the. So we saw the word Akhilam previously. Vishwametad Akhilam. So we saw earlier. So here is Nikhilam. Both mean same. Akhilam and Nikhilam. Sometimes in Tamil, Akhilam is used as, is wrongly understood as world. So Akhilam doesn't mean world. Akhilam means everything. So also Nikhilam means everything. So every sin, every grave sin is broken. That means people are relieved. Devotees are free from sins. Nikhila Pathakachitam. So now this is how Vedantadeshika imagines, rather bhavayami. Bhavayami in the sense, he meditates on. Swami Vedantadeshika says, I meditate on you, Tvam Ashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim Bhavayami. So you get a lot of kirtanams starting with Bhavayami. You would have heard about Bhavayami Raghuramam, Bhavayami Gopala Balam by Annamacharya. I think Bhavayami Raghuramam by Swati Thirunarayanan Maharaja, and so on. So many kirtanams starting with Bhavayami. So Bhavayami is imagination, feeling, reciting, meditating. So I meditate, Bhavayami. Always I have affection towards, the love towards the divine sandal. And I always think about it. And I always have closeness with the divine sandals. So Tvam. So you know that whenever we go to the temple and have the vision of the Lord, darshan of the Lord, we must try to appeal to him, not for, of course, many benefits, but for just engaging ourselves in a conversation, a dialogue. So we must, in our heart, develop a dialogue and then talk as though you talk with a friend. So you must always remember the Divya Mangala Vigraha of the temple, in the temple, is in life, is life with the blood. So he is a real God. He is not in a stone, he is not made by metal, he is not lifeless. And therefore, you must imagine some dialogue to converse with. And you must also imagine that he answers your questions. So now he says that is how Vedantadeshika feels towards the divine sandals. And this Bhavayami. So there are four types of bhavas, emotions attached to the mind of Swami Vedantadeshika. So one is Ramapada Sakadharmacharini. So I understand, though you are in the Archavatara form, Archavatara meaning worshipable, tangible, Divya Mangala Vigraha, auspicious and divine figure in the temple of Srirangam. And I see that you were in the incarnation a companion, a friend along with him, a girlfriend along with him, to go about doing all righteous activities, attaching yourself to the divine feet of Lord Rama. And number 2, Nikhila Patakachitam. So you are capable of killing all the sins, removing all the sins, wiping out all the sins from the devotees. And then, so, Tvam, you, third one, Ashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim. So we saw the idea earlier that Lord Ranganatha as Lord Vishnu protects the entire universe. Whereas, so what we saw is, Etat Akhilam Vishwam Vibhartiyah. So who carries the burden of responsibility to protect the entire universe. And in turn, Lord Ranganatha, with his divine feet, are carried by the divine sandals. Therefore, divine sandals are the presiding deity. That's what he says. Now, Vedantadeshika says, Adhishwarim, Ishwari, the goddess, all-powerful goddess. She has got the highest leadership. So, Ishwarim, Adhishwarim, she is a presiding deity. Only in the temple of Srirangam, Ranganatha's temple, you find that Padukas here. Therefore, so this Paduka, hey Paduke, Tvam you, Ashesha Jagatam, Adhishwarim, the same words in the previous verse, Akhilam, Jagat, Vishwam, Etat. So Ashesha Jagatam, so Jagat is Vishwam here, Shesha remaining, Ashesha all. So the entire universe, for all the worlds, Ashesha Jagatam, if you say it is 14 or 3 or whatever it is, Ashesha Jagatam, upper 7 and the lower 7 worlds, Sapta Lokam. Ashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim Bhavayami. This is the third point. So I consider emotionally attached to you, O divine sandals, that you are the presiding deity of all the worlds. That means you boss over even Ranganatha. You instruct Ranganatha where to go and where to stand, how long you must go, how much time you must take for tour, how much time you have to stand on me. So everything is, so you give instruction. Therefore, Adhishwarim, overriding, passing over Lord Ranganatha. Then, Bharata Adhidevatam. Again, coming to Ramayana. The first word, Ramapada Sakadharmacharini, also refers to Ramayana incident. Whereas here also, the last word also, Bharata Adhidevatam. So you are the presiding deity, Adhidevatam, the same meaning as Adhishwarim. So Adhidevatam, you are the goddess, presiding goddess for the 14 years of rule through Bharata. So Bharata Adhidevatam. The word Bharata, as you know, so Bhara is bar or burden. So Bharata was the person who carried the responsibility of the kingdom for 14 years. The word Bharata itself is very fitting, relevant, that he took care of the kingdom more carefully than even Rama. So Bharata Adhidevatam, Bharata gave so much respect to the divine sandals that so he kept more than even his eldest brother Rama in high status on the throne of Ayodhya, the divine sandals. So Bharata Adhidevatam. So let me recite the 49. So Jamapada Sakadharmacharini Paduke Nikhila Patakachidam Tvamashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim Bhavayami Bharatadhidevatam. So I wanted to say one more idea which I had in mind in the previous session, but I omitted because of the paucity of time. I want to remind that idea to you all. Namely, now we saw the verse, we can go to the verse also. Pranamanti nava vidher vipakat 46. Pranamanti nava vidher vipakat yaime ranganarendra paduke tvam. So we saw the double meaning of the word anuttamangam. We saw the two results of people, of two categories of people, those who bow down their head to the divine sandals and those who do not bow down their head to the divine sandals. So the heads of those people who do not bow down to the divine sandals is not called head. It is unfit to be called head. Whereas the heads of those devotees who bow down to the divine sandals are the real heads, best heads. That's what we saw. So in this, now the question is, if people do not bow down, are they equal to those who bow down? It seems as though both of them get emancipation, beatitude, freedom from birth and death, what you call moksha, or you can say getting service. So you find people who do not bow down to the divine sandals also are getting the same advantage of those who bow down. So what will be the what we call justice, natural justice? There will be no natural justice if both are treated alike. There is an example in the Alankara Shastra, namely, you start appreciating the Ganges river. The Ganges river is holy, and the holy river removes the sins of people who take bath. It's so holy that even great sinners, when they take bath, are relieved of their sins. So we have a what we call apparent censure, scolding of the Ganges river in Alankara Shastra, that the what you call the final understanding should be Ganges river is so holy that it takes sinners to heaven. But what about good people? Good people naturally go to heaven. Nayasi swargam patakino piyat. So the Ganges is addressed this way. So, oh Ganges, so Nayasi swargam, you take to the heaven. Patakino piyat, even the great sinners. How come that you do this? That means the river is the holiest. So in the same way, the divine sandals are the holiest, and they elevate all people without any distinction whatsoever to the higher status. Now, that doesn't mean so all of us should not bow down to the divine sandals. So we must follow our elders, we must follow our shastras, we must follow our acharyas, preceptors, and then we have to understand that the divine sandals must be worshipped. And there is a category of people in the Sampradaya, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, who always adore the sandals of divine sandals of all the preceptors in their race. It's called the Padukasahasram. There are many people in our country, in our even the world, in our world, that they do Padukasahasram daily. Apart from the Aradhanam of the Saligrama at home, Salagrama at home, and also, of course, the priests in the temple worship twice, and they do double Aradhanam in the temple in the morning and evening. So, with this, I would like to invite your comments, and then Pratimaha. Yeah. I will tell you the dhatu, Madam Radhika. Not very much failure, yes. Shilata's meaning is right. Kleshaha is difficult. Klamaha, kleshaha. They are synonyms. I will tell you in the next session the root of dhatu of pratima. It's a rare usage by Swami Vedantadeshika. I think I have forgotten. Sorry for my answer. Then I have. Let me conclude by saying the last verse of the Padukasahasram. Jayati itiraja sukti, Jayati mukundasya paduka yugali, tadubhayadhanas trivedim, avandhyayanto jayanti bhuvisantaha. So there is a message, the mic emits a sound that clogs the hearing. Please adjust. Okay. Let us conclude by the Taniyan. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Right, you are right, Niti. Klamaha, fatigue, Kleshaha, pain. Okay. A subtle difference is there, of course. Good. I appreciate your what you call intuitive, rather discriminative power to understand the difference between klamaha and klesha. Good. Congratulations to Shivashankar ji. And thanks to all of you. We will meet in the next session. And dhanyavadaha. I will stop sharing here. Thanks to Vijaya Hetirajan. How to listen to previous videos. They have been uploaded by Vyoma Linguistics Lab Foundation in the YouTube. So you simply type Padukasahasram, what you call, I think, delightful discourse, or add my name, R. Thirunarayanan. You will get the videos, the earlier videos. So how to listen to is you must allot time to listen to. Vijaya Hetirajan. Yes, I can talk now. So you unmute yourself and talk.
नमस्कारः जी, श्रूयते वा?
Namaste. श्रूयते.
अस्तु. मम क्लास् मध्ये एकः अभिजित् इति 28 वयः एकः आदमी अस्ति. सः तु संस्कृतभाषेण अध्यापकः PhD करोति. सः तु इदानीम् अध्यापकः महान्. अत्र सः तु अध्यापकः विषये किञ्चित् पृष्टवान्, यत्र कुत्रापि स्थानम् अस्ति वा इति.
उद्योगस्थानं वा?
आं जी, आं जी.
सः PhD सम्पूर्णं कृतवान् वा?
न, सम्पूर्णं नास्ति, परन्तु सः तु एतत् विषये करोति एव, परन्तु मध्ये किञ्चित् पाठविषये किञ्चित् अध्यापकः इति स्थानं कुत्रापि भवति वा इति मम कृते पृष्टवान्.
उद्योग अन्वेषणं करोति.
आम् आम्. अतः मया अहम् एतत् विषये तस्य कृते उक्तं. अतः एव
संख्यां ददातु।
वदतु
जानाति
जि।
वा?
न जानामि जि,
अत्र
कृपया वदतु।
अत्र उट्टङ्कनं करोमि। ह्यः वा परह्यः वा मया उट्टङ्कितं मम
भवान् वदति चेत् अहं लिखामि इदानीम्।
अहम् इदानीं चाट् मध्ये
प्रेषितं वा?
प्रेषितम्।
अस्तु अस्तु। अनन्तरं अन्य एकः मनुष्यः अस्ति, सः तु किम् अस्ति, जीयर् मध्ये तिरुनेल्वेलि मध्ये जीयर् मठम् अस्ति खलु, तत्र सः कार्यं करोति। एतत् चिन्तनविषये, ध्यानविषये, अनन्तरम् एतत् सत्विषये कार्यं करोति। परन्तु सः पृष्टवान्, को एतत् टेम्पल् मध्ये, मन्दिर् मध्ये किमपि कार्यं इदानीं तत्र कार्यमस्ति चेत् वदतु, अहं तत्र गमिष्यामि इति उक्तवान्। सः बहु समीचीनतया सत्विषये ध्यानं कृतवान्। तस्यापि अर्चकस्थानं नास्ति, सः अन्य कार्यमस्ति चेत्, मन्दिर् मध्ये किमपि कार्यमस्ति चेत् सः इच्छति एव एतत् तत्र कार्यं कर्तुं। तत्र एव स्थानमपि दातुं शक्यते चेत् अहं तत्र गमिष्यामि इति सः उक्तवान्. அந்த கதவை சாத்து, அதுக்கு தான் சொன்னேன், கதவை திறந்தாலே இதுக்கு பெரிய ரோதனை. ஜி, एतत् विषये किञ्चित् सहायं कर्तुं शक्यते वा जि?
सः मां सम्पर्कं करोतु।
भवतः नाम अत्र नास्ति जि।
डाक्टर् आर् तिरुनारायणन्। पूर्वं भवत्याः पञ्जीकरणसमये, time of registration, you would have seen
इदानीं
every time
इदानीं वक्तुं न शक्यते वा जि? भवतः नाम मनसि अस्ति एव। अस्ति एव। दूरवाण्यां संख्या जि?
संख्या दत्तं खलु,
अत्र नास्ति।
चाट् मध्ये to host and panelists. Okay, let me tell you, vadami 9786 377 018.
अस्तु जि। एकः नाम केशवः, अन्य नाम अभिजित्। अभिजित् तु नार्त् सैड् मध्ये वसति। यः तु तिरुनेल्वेलि मध्ये किम् अस्ति तत्र, मन्दिरमस्ति, किम् अस्ति जि?
वानमामलै।
आमामां, तत्रैव वानमामलै। परन्तु सः तु तेन्कलै, वयं सर्वे वडकले। परन्तु एतत् एकः नाम केशव, अन्य नाम अभिजित्। केशव तु तमिळ्नाडु मध्ये वसति, अभिजित् तु नार्त् सैड् मध्ये वसति। अहं दूरवाण्यां संख्यां प्रेषयिष्यति जि।
तमिळ्नाडुतः बहिः अस्ति वा अभिजित्?
आमामां, नार्त् सैड् अस्ति, महाराष्ट्र।
ओके,
बहु धन्यवादः जि। शुभदिनं जि। नमस्कारः।
स्वागतम्। उषा कण्णन्, कृपया व्योमा लिंग्विस्टिक्स लैब फाउंडेशन संपर्कं करोतु। They will tell you how you access the earlier videos. You can go to vyoma in video. I think you can type vyoma video, or you can get it vyoma. You can get the videos of all the classes done through this Vyoma Linguistics Lab Foundation. This is the answer. Please use your account on our website, only then you can access. Yeah, you have to. I think there's no need to use the account on the website. Anybody can access. So simply type Padukasahasram Vyoma. You will get the videos of YouTube. Anything else? 2 point is So Meenakshi, please. So you are Meenakshi. You are using an older version of Zoom. So you say promote to panelist. Yeah. Then one more person. Yeah, Paramahamsa. Yes, you can talk Paramahamsa for me. So you unmute yourself.
Prabhu Mahodaya.
Padhatu.
I am Satyanarayan Reddy, Satyam Reddy.
Right.
Now you have explained the river Ganga regarding people bow and not bowed. Similarly, the Ramayana and the Padukasahasram one and same. Regarding that, Kaveri joins, Yamuna joins Ganga. After that, it is also purified.
Right.
Like that, this our Padukasahasram is also on par with Ramayana. This was told somewhere else. I heard that the sloka is also available in this. I am not able to find that sloka, Mahodaya.
Which sloka you mean?
The Ramayana and Padukasahasram are one and same.
Oh. But I have heard another sloka written by what we call a Kavi, who has written both Ramayana and Mahabharata in one story. It's Raghava Pandaviyam. Raghava Pandaviyam is one of the Mahakavyas. And he says Mahabharatam Ganga, Ramayanam, Mahabharatam Sagaram, Ramayanam Ganga. Kaviraja is the name of the author. So Kaviraja Bhagiratho, it ends with Kaviraja Bhagiratho. Only two people could join both Ramayana and Mahabharata. Srimad Ramayanam Ganga, Bharatam Sagaro Mahan. Bharatam Sagaro Mahan. Tat Yojana, what do you call, Pandito, Kaviraja Bhagiratho. I shall tell you little later. Srimad Ramayanam Ganga, Bharatam Sagaro Mahan. Tad Yojana, I think people who know how to join this, then there, but I have not heard Padukasahasram with Ramayana. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll find out if possible.
Okay.
So one more raise to the hand.
It means that both are purified. Just now you are saying like
Right.
that.
Yeah, we understand the idea.
Yes.
Right.
That's the
Anybody else? I think two people raised their hands. Okay. So we will meet in the next session. Thank you very much.